Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka Coach Key, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So you guys, as y'all can tell by the title of this video and my excitement, y'all, today, May 29th, makes my 2-year debt-free anniversary. Yay! Y'all, 2 years ago today, I made my very last debt payment, which was my car notes, and that payment was $1,324.97. And on that day, KeAmber Vaughn became debt free. Yes. So today's video, I want to shout out India Your Closet Simplified, because on my video where I talked about the 5 things that I did to prepare for the loss of income during this pandemic, I talked about the fact that my 2-year anniversary was coming up, and she said 2 years debt free, that is amazing. It'd be really good if you did a check-in talking about your wins and new insights being debt free. So before she made that comment, I knew I wanted to make a video, but I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. If you guys did not know, I do have a vlog on my channel where I actually take you guys with me as I pay off my last debt. I also have a video that I'll also link up in the eye in the sky where I did my 1-year debt anniversary video, and I talked about, I think, what I've learned thus far. So this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about the wins and new insights that I have. So if you guys are new to my channel, my debt-free journey lasted about 573 days, or about 18 months. And in that time frame, I eliminated over $26,073.27, and I saved $17,475.99 during that time frame. So there's also another video that I have on my channel when I talked about my debt-free journey, like how much debt I was really in, because before I started this part of my debt-free journey, I was actually trying to get out of debt, but I would start and stop for months and then start and stop for months, mainly because I was always very uncomfortable with sending a large portion of my income off to debt while I didn't have enough saved up, in my opinion. So that video is actually called Debt Free, No Thanks to Dave Ramsey. And I really just made the video that title because I remember I had made this video not too soon before where I talked about the 4 reasons why I did not follow him, and so many people commented, oh my God, you just must care about debt, you're gonna always be in debt. So that was just to prove them wrong, you know. But y'all, I have saved so much money since then, like since becoming debt free, and I just really think that it's because of the habits that I formed during the time where I was getting out of debt. At one point in time, I was over $40-something thousand in debt between credit cards and car loans, student loans. I had IRS debt on top of that. Y'all, it was a journey, okay, a journey. So let's start talking about the wins, and then we'll talk about my new insights towards the end of this video. So the first win is that in these last 2 years, I have saved, y'all ready for the number? $55,658.81. Now, if you follow my channel, I do make some updates, usually monthly, on like how much money I have in my savings and everything. And I think at this moment it's probably a little bit over $43,000, which isn't the $55,000, but that's because, of course, during that time I had to take some money out of savings. I sent some money towards investments. I had to pay for some car repairs, vacations, all different things like that. But total, I saved over $55,000. Now, once I became debt free, I did reduce my hours at my PRN job to pretty much only work about 25 hours a week. But there was about 6 months during these last 2 years where I was doing travel nursing, which increased my income substantially. And I have not done travel nursing in almost a year now. So that's why I was able to save so much money. So I would definitely say that's my number one win, is being able to continue to save money. So win number two, I have not incurred any new debt whatsoever. The only debt that I incur on a monthly basis, which really doesn't incur very much because after 2 weeks I'll always pay it off, is the fact that I do use my credit card to pay for all of my expenses pretty much, except like maybe 1 or 2. If you missed that video, I did make a video recently on why I use credit cards for everything, and I'll link that video up in the eye in the sky. That's the only debt that I've continued to incur, but again, like I said, I pay that debt off every 2 weeks, so I'm not really incurring it really to begin with. So win number 3, and I'm looking on a piece of paper, is I have not been forced to work full time anymore because my bills are so low. You guys, let me tell you, when I was at my highest level of debt, I think my debt payments were like $820 something a month, if I'm not mistaken. So when you think about the fact that just my minimum debt payments are over $800 a month, then I had rent on top of that, utilities, all of this stuff, and I'm trying to save extra money, and I'm trying to pay off extra debt. It was a lot. So after I became debt free, I said, you know what? Now, I really don't like working full-time anyway. I'm more of an entrepreneur at heart. I've been in different areas of entrepreneurship, and I'm not a corporate America person. Working with different management teams and different staff and having to deal with some of the clients or patients that we have to deal with in healthcare, it's a lot. And it can really take a lot on, take a toll on your mental, especially when you're in healthcare for the right reasons. You really want to help people, but then you see all of the craziness that goes on in the background. It's a lot. So once I became debt free, I really just wanted a break. So I decided, you know what? I can work 25 hours a week. 25 hours a week for me at my job basically grosses me about $3,000 a month, but then I'm taxed almost $700 a month. So I'm only bringing in about $2,300 a month, give or take. And that's considered low income technically by statistics. But for me, it's enough because I don't have bills. I don't have all of this money going out to debt all of the time. Now, for me right now, it definitely helps the fact that I live at home with my mother and my sister during this time. But even if I was to get my own apartment, because I do live in a low income area, I still would not have to work more than twice a week to still be able to keep up with my new bills. I pay for my groceries now anyway. I pay for, entertainment, whatever, when I go out to eat. So the only thing that would incur as far as a new bill goes is my rent and utilities. And again, I live in a low income area, or low cost of living area. So it's not like it takes a lot to live on my own. If I was to do that, I probably will only work maybe 1 or 2 extra shifts a month just to give myself that little extra cushion so I can continue to save a little bit more money. But outside of that, y'all, I'm not forced to work full time because I don't have to. The fourth thing that I think is a win is that it's allowed me, being debt free has allowed me to enter this relaxation phase of my life. I literally was just talking to one of my best friends, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and we know a lot about each other, but there's certain things of like how I came up and like what I've gone through in my life that he doesn't know just yet. So we were talking about the fact that like, I just want to relax right now. Like, I don't have children. I don't have any extra responsibilities. I just want to relax. I'm about to be 30 next month. Like, I've done way too much too fast. So he didn't know, like, I graduated high school at 16, and right after that I went straight into college. Y'all, my first year of college, I was taking 20 credit hours every 10 weeks. It was an accelerated program or an accelerated school, and taking 20 credit hours plus working 20 hours a week plus playing ball for that school, that was a lot. And I still maintained a 4.0. Then I went into community college for a year to finish my prereqs before going into nursing school. During nursing school, I was a realtor. I had a lot of clients. Like, I was doing really well in real estate. Plus I was playing ball for my nursing school, and that was a D2 school. After that, I think when I graduated, I might have taken like maybe a 2 or 3 month break before I got into corporate America, working as a nurse. And it's just been going since then. So now it's just like, you know what? Almost half of my life, I've just been going. My wheels have just been spinning. I just want to sit back and relax. And I can do that because I'm debt free and I don't have all of these extra bills. So for me, that's definitely a win, especially because I'm still at that phase right now where I don't know if I want to become a mom or not at some point. But if I do, this relaxation phase for me is the best thing ever, because once you start having kids, it's very hard to find that me time, to find that relaxation time, you know, and especially if you don't have like a huge village to kind of help you out with your children, to kind of take the load off of you sometimes, which I do have that. But still, I know that being a mom is a certain level of responsibility. And right now, I don't want that. I want to just relax. And maybe this is like my pre-mom phase so that I don't get stressed the hell out because I just went straight into it and, you know, was continuing to work full time and everything like that. Win number 5 and the last one is that me being debt-free has allowed me to not have to work during this pandemic. This pandemic and the quarantine and all of this stuff, this has been a lot on a lot of people. And the one thing that I'm very, very grateful for is the fact that I spent so much time mastering my finances and saving so much money so that when a time came like this, I wasn't forced to have to think to myself, do I sit here and struggle with no income and no money in my savings account just so that I can protect my health? Or do I try to work past this and hope that I don't contract it? And if I do contract it, hoping that I don't get the worst of the worst version of it and end up dying from it. Like, I have not had to have that conversation with myself. I literally told my job from day one when everything first started happening, listen, as soon as we get the first case, I'm out. And it's not really even necessarily from the standpoint of fear per se, but you know, when they started talking about some of the things that can make you have a higher risk of dying from it, I had to think to myself, like, you know, at the end of the day, you need to have a very strong immune system, which I do have. But in the past, like when I was in high school, I had 2 autoimmune skin disorders. And even though they were just skin disorders, it's still autoimmune. So there's still something that is going on with my immune system that at any point in time, my immune system can attack itself. So if that's the case, why would I want to put myself in jeopardy? Sure, I don't have diabetes and hypertension and all of these other comorbidities that they're saying would increase your mortality risk, but I just didn't want to have to chance that. And thankfully, because I was debt free and I saved so much money during my journey and even after I became debt free, that is a win. I did not have to put myself at risk because I did not want to. So now let's talk about the insights, some new insights that I've had since I became debt free. And I have about 3 or 4. I don't know if I'm gonna talk about the 4th one just yet. But the first one is that even though credit matters, having a super duper duper high credit score ain't even worth it. And it's practically impossible when you become debt free. I see a lot of people who, you know, aspire to have 850 credit scores and all of this other stuff. But the reality is, in order for you to reach that credit score and maintain it, you have to maintain debt, because a portion of your credit score has to do with how much debt you are in. So if you don't have any debt, if you don't have installment debt because you don't have a car note or you don't have a credit card or anything like that, it's going to affect your credit score, you guys. So when I became debt free, I had a credit score of 821. As of today, actually yesterday, when Bank of America went ahead and updated my FICO score, my FICO is 773, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 773. So mine kind of ranges from 770 to I think 802 or 807, depending on what platforms that I use, because some of my credit cards and then some of my banks actually do give me my FICO score and TransUnion score and all of that on an updated monthly basis. But I'm not in the 800s like for sure on every platform anymore. And I'm absolutely okay with that because I don't want to have debt to be able to maintain that. Now, the other thing that I can say did affect my credit score by just a couple of points, I think like maybe 12 points or so, is the fact that I was on like as an authorized user on someone else's credit card, my donor. And because of everything that's going on and me denouncing my relationship with him and not wanting to deal with him at all, I did remove myself as an authorized user, especially because I didn't want to have to like take the rap for anything that he's doing with his credit cards. Like, I don't know what you're doing. We don't even talk. So I don't want you running up a credit card and then it affecting me. So I took myself off. And because of that, my my credit score did go down because of that. But it is what it is. Honestly, if I was to buy a house or if I needed a loan to get a car or anything, me having a 770, 72 credit score versus an 820, that difference in interest rate is really not that much. I promise you. It's not. not that much of a difference. So insight number 2 is that saving is still important, as well as investing. And I think that once you become debt free and you don't have so much money going towards debt, you do need to start to put money into investments again, especially if you pause like your 401k and stuff like that. But saving is still so very important, especially for me, because of my decision to only work part-time. And because of how I have some of my sinking funds and savings accounts set up, it is still very important for me to save, because if I want to go on vacations, but I'm only bringing in about $2,300 a month, and if you add like a couple $100s from YouTube, you know, I need to be able to save some of that money over time so that when I go on my vacations 3, 4, 5 times a year, I can just pull the money out of a sinking fund and don't have to worry about how it's going to fit into this budget right now because my friend just ups and says, hey, let's go on a vacation in 2 months. Let's go ahead and get the flights now. Well, that would affect my budget if I've already created the budget for that month. So now, you know, whenever I do plan vacations and stuff, I just take it out of my travel sinking fund. And then whenever I actually go on that vacation, whatever spending money does come out of that particular budget, but it's a budget that I've already had set up beforehand. So saving is definitely still important. All right, sorry guys, so my other camera actually died on me, so I have a new camera up here, so my lighting and zooming in and out might have changed just a little bit, but let's go ahead and finish this video off. So the third and final new insight that I've had since becoming debt-free 2 years ago is that the new habits that I formed on my debt-free journey were very easy for me to maintain during this time. So one of the things that I can say, and I've said this in several videos over the last couple of years, is that I feel like for a lot of people, the reason why they are on their debt-free journeys a little bit longer than they really have to be, and the reason why they kind of started and stop it and started and stop it, kind of like I did before this last 18-month stretch that I had when I became debt-free, is the fact that depending on what system that you have for your money, what strategy you're using, or whatever you want to call it, depending on what it is, if you have a system for your money that causes you to stress out about money because you don't have a lot of money saved up, if it's causing you to put so much money towards debt but you're not able to enjoy your money, that will make you start and stop and start and stop. So when you do finally get close to becoming debt-free or do become debt-free, a lot of times those people will kind of fall backwards into the old habits that they had because they weren't able to kind of be consistent and have that continuity in what they were doing, right? For me personally, I had a system that let me save money. I still enjoy my money. I still was going on vacations when I wanted to. Now, I wasn't overspending or anything, and there's still a certain level of I guess you can say strictness you have to have, but when it's real strict, that's why people fail. That's why people take so long. So I had someone ask me on my live, I think it was yesterday or the day before, when I talked about one of the videos that I have coming up, and they asked me to specifically talk about, like, how do you have so much money saved up or even as a buffer in your checking account without spending it? And I'm going to talk about this in the future video, but let me just say this. If you don't form new habits for your money, you're going to stay where you are. You have to form new positive habits. For me, like, once I became debt-free, it wasn't oh, okay, now that I don't have this extra $800 going out to bills every month, like debt bills, I'm just going to use that to spend it on cars and clothes or, you know, anything like that. I don't start eating out more or anything. Like, for me, it was the same thing. I think what kind of helps me is the fact that I'm not a materialistic person. I don't judge people who are materialistic. I don't judge you if you spend $200, $300, $400, $500 on shoes and things like that. I don't judge you for that. But what I'm saying is those things don't matter for me. For me, if I'm going to spend $300 on something, it's going to be a flight somewhere because of the experience. So I've had that habit for a long time because growing up, I wasn't that kid who wore the new Jordans or anything like that. Like, honestly, I never had any pair of Jordans outside of the team Jordans that we needed to play basketball. And I only use Jordans because that's like kind of like a consistent thing that I see, especially in our culture of like what we tend to spend our money on every single launch and everything. I mean, I like electronics, I like video games and stuff, but for the most part, I have the habit of not spending a lot of money unless I absolutely need to. Is it causing me to not enjoy my money? Absolutely not. But you have to decide what your why is. Why do you want to become debt free? Why do you want to have this cushion? Why do you want to have this savings over here? Why do you want to do that? Until you figure out your why, you're always going to be starting and stopping. And that's something that we talk about in entrepreneurship and different areas of life. You have to figure out, why is this important to you? When you establish that, hey, I want to become debt free and have a large savings so that my kids don't have to worry about what I didn't have to worry about, so that I don't have to struggle anymore, so that if an emergency happens, I don't have to freaking panic. I can just say, hey, how much is it? Here's my card number, boom, and I'm done. When you figure out why, maybe you'll start to form a new habit, because with the buffer that I have, the couple $1,000s of a buffer that I have in my checking account, I don't even think about spending it. I don't even think about spending any money in my savings account unless it's from one of my specific sinking funds where I specifically put money in that particular savings account for this. I literally don't think about it. So when you form those new habits based on a system that allows you to be consistent, it's so much easier to maintain it. You guys can see from my videos now versus a year ago, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I still don't have a lot of spending. I might have spent a little bit more money then because I was living on my own, but I still don't have very high spending. So I think that's a new insight, definitely, is that if you form really good new habits with a very consistent system, you won't stray away from it. It doesn't matter how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out, you'll do the same thing over and over and over. I like writing out with pen and paper all of my expenses. I don't care if it was 1 for a week. I don't care if it's 20 for a week. I like doing that. That's a habit that I need to have, because I don't want to get to the point where I finally reach $10,000 months or $20,000 months in my entrepreneurship. And now, because I formed horrible habits with my personal money, now I'm doing horrible things with the $20,000 a month and the $30,000 a month. Even let's just go on a regular, like, okay, let's say you have a job where you're making $2,500 a month. What if 5 years from now you're making $5,000 a month? Well, if you never got rid of those old habits, that new money is going to bring new problems. I promise you. So you have to stay down and make sure that no matter what during your journey, you carry those habits through no matter what. So those are the insights that I have. Those are the wins that I feel like I've had thus far on my 2-year anniversary, 2 years of being debt free, you guys. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or commentary, any video suggestions that you guys want to see from me, please feel free to leave them down below. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.